A personal letter deals with personal matters. For example, you might write this kind of letter to request information for a trip. Your principal might send this kind of letter to congratulate you for winning an award. A letter is considered more formal than an email or a text message. Personal business letters are often arranged in block format. Block format means that every line of a letter starts at the left margin. Paragraphs, for example, are not indented as they are in many reports. A business letter is shown on page 210. Some guidelines for writing a business letter. Well, first, I guess it says review the sample letter on page 210 and the guidelines for keying a letter on page 208 through 209. We'll go over those here in just a second. And basically for this first assignment, you're going to type the model letter on page 210 using the guidelines shown. Note that to use Word to create the documents and the remaining activities of this chapter unless directed otherwise. So you have to type this in Word. We're going to talk about the guidelines here in just a minute, but you will be typing this business letter that you can find on page 210 in your book. It'll look like this when you are done. But here are some guidelines. It says a model business letter is shown on page 210. Refer to this model as you read the following information about the letter parts for formatting letters. It says that margins, for the margins you should use the default 1-inch margins and default line and paragraph spacing, 1.08 with 8 points after spaces. Okay, so notice the margins are all the same and single space with 0.8 points after a paragraph. For block letters, all lines start at the left margin. So for alignment, everything starts at the left margin. It says to start the return address at or near the 2-inch vertical position. It should consist of a line for the writer's street address and a line for the city-state zip code. Use Shift plus Enter after keying each line. The date, you should key the month, day, and year on the line below city, state, and zip. Use the month, day, year format and tap Enter twice after keying the date. Let's see, it says that letter mailing address. So here, let's go back and look at this here. So up here at the top is where you put the writer's address and then the date. Okay, and the date should be formatted like this. You'll then hit Enter twice to get 2 spaces in between where you will then start the letter mailing address. This is to the person receiving the letter. Okay. The letter mailing address is the name and address of the person to whom you are writing, and it is called the letter mailing address. Key a personal title such as Miss, Mr., Mrs., or Ms. Or a professional title like Doctor, Lieutenant, or Senator before the receiver's name. Use Shift plus Enter to key all lines of the letter mailing address except the last line. Tap Enter once after keying the last line. The salutation is a greeting. It says to key a salutation such as Dear Mr. Smith after the letter address. Tap Enter once after keying the salutation. The body, which our body has 4 paragraphs. The paragraphs or message of the letter is called the body. You tap Enter once after each paragraph in the body. We then have a complimentary close, which is usually a word like sincerely, or it might be thank you, or well wishes. Sincerely is an example of a complimentary close. It says to tap enter twice after keying the complimentary close, followed by the writer's name right here. Says key the writer's name below the complimentary close. A personal title such as Miss or Ms. may be used before the name to indicate how a female prefers to be addressed in a response. If a male has a name that does not clearly indicate his gender, type Mr. The title Mr. may precede his name. Tap enter once after keying the writer's name. Some letters might have reference initial. If a letter is keyed by someone other than the person whose name is keyed as the writer, the initials of the person keying the letter should be placed in the in lowercase letters at the left margin below the writer's name. Tap enter once after keying the reference initials. Copy notation. If someone will receive a copy of a letter, add a copy notation after the writer's name. Key C tab to the 0.5-inch mark and then key the name of the person receiving the copy. Tap enter once after keying the copy notation. Sometimes you'll have an attachment or an enclosure notation. If another document is attached to the letter, add the attachment notation to the letter by keying the word attachment below the preceding letter part. In the additional document, if an additional document is not attached, add an enclosure notation to the letter by keying the word enclosure. Punctuation style. Open punctuation style does not use punctuation after the salutation or complimentary close. Mixed punctuation style uses a colon after the salutation and a comma after the complimentary close. Alright, so for this you would open up Microsoft Word. Okay, and you'll need to look at page 210 to set up your letter correctly, but we'll open this up. Down here you're going to want to have the vertical page position turned on, and we will want to start at about the 2-inch mark. So start at about the 2-inch mark. If you get to 1.9, that's okay. We're going to type in the return address first, so it'll look like this: 23633 Real Court. Notice I didn't change my margins, I didn't change my paragraph line spacing, but when I get to the end of the line, I'm going to hold down the shift and press the enter key. Okay, that'll move me to the line directly below my previous line. So then Valencia, California, 91355-2125, shift enter, and then I will type in the date, which says March 26th, 2017. Okay, when I and to the end of this line, because I want to put in 2 spaces, notice when I hit enter, it gives me 1 whole space. I'm going to hit enter again. It'll give me 2 lines of spacing. Then I'm going to type the letter mailing address. Joyce. We're going to press shift enter again to go to the next line. 3209 Snyder Avenue. Shift enter. Modesto, California, 95356-0140. Okay, and then we'll hit enter key 1 time to put in 1 line of space. Dear Ms. Joyce. Okay, enter once, and then you'll type the body of your document. Okay, when you get to the end of a paragraph, you just hit the enter key one time, and then you'll continue typing the rest of your document. Alright, so once you have typed your letter completely, it should look something like this. Now, Holton will appear to be misspelled, however, it is not, so you can leave that alone. If you make an error like I did when I typed audience, you can select it and change it to the correct spelling using the spelling and grammar feature. So when you get to the end here, we're going to hit the enter key once and type our complimentary close. Sincerely, we're using open punctuation, so you don't need to put a comma at the end. But we will hit enter twice to give us double lines of space. Usually in that space right there you would put your signature, and then you will type Catherine Kins, enter, and then there is an enclosure, so we'll type enclosure because as you see it says here I'm enclosing a letter that the FBLA Club wants Miss Denise Joyce to read. Alright. So we are using open punctuation, no commas after the salutation and the complimentary close. Your letter, if done correctly, should look like this. I'm not really sure why. Just gives us some grammar suggestions, but we'll leave those as is. And then it says to save this letter. If we go back to page 208, we're going to save this letter as 52A letter. So go to File, Save As. We'll browse, find our Keyboarding 8 folder. We'll need a new folder named Chapter 6. If you don't already have one, go ahead and make one. And we're going to name this letter 52A letter. Save. Alright, so 52A letter is done. We're going to go on here to 52B. It says to open a new blank document and key the letters shown on the next page. Check the spelling and proofreading of the letter carefully, correct all errors, and save this letter as 52B letter. Okay, so on page 211 you'll see a letter, and you will have to type it exactly as we typed this letter right here, 52A letter. It doesn't tell you on this document how to format it, but you're going to format it exactly the same as you did on page 210, following the same steps to create the letter that you just made. This time though, without the guides. Okay, so you'll type 52B, and then alright, so for 52C, it says we're going to talk about cut, copy, and paste. Okay, so when you write a report or letter, you may write several drafts or versions of it. You may decide to cut some data that doesn't fit with the subject, or you may decide to move a word, sentence, or paragraph from one place to another. Once you have selected the text you want to cut or move, the cut, copy, and paste feature can be used to make these types of changes to a document. The cut command removes selected text from a document. The copy command copies selected text so it can be pasted to another location. The paste command text that has been cut or copied from a document. You can access the cut, copy, and paste commands quickly by clicking the buttons in the clipboard group on the Home tab. as shown in figure 6-6. So it looks like this. In Microsoft Word, it looks very similar to what it looks like here in PowerPoint, the clipboard command. So we're going to open up document 52C paste 1. So we'll go to our keyboarding folder, data files, and we'll find 52C paste 1. Okay. And it tells us to cut the line numbered 1. So we're going to highlight line numbered 1 and paste it at the beginning of the first line. So we can click cut right here. You can right click and click cut, or you can press Control plus X on your keyboard. I'll click cut right there. I'm going to click below, right in front of, paste it at the beginning of the first line. So we'll click paste. Okay, so now it's 1, 3, 2, 4, so we're going to probably have to move 2. Then it says read the tip at the left. Drag line 2 so it follows line 1. So we can drag things. So we're going to highlight line 2. And we're going to click with our mouse on top of it, and we get kind of this move arrow. I'm going to move my mouse right in front of the number 3, and I'm going to let go. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, let's see. Then it says, so we just moved. So if I wanted to move it back, I can highlight it, click and drag, and it would, let's see, if I wanted to move it down below, I have to put it below, in front of 4. Okay, and then I can move it back. Click, hold down my mouse button, and I'm dragging and dropping. Okay. Then it says to select all 4 lines, and then it says copy and paste them to the blank paragraph line below 4. So let's be careful just to highlight those. We can hit copy, okay, and then it says to click right below 4 right here, and we're going to paste it in. Okay, and then we're going to save this document as, so let's go to our keyboarding folder, chapter 6. We're going to name it, get rid of the data file in front, 52C paste 1, save. Okay, now it tells us to open data file df62 or 52C paste 2. Let's open that up. And now it says use cut and paste to move paragraph 2 to make it paragraph 1. So this is paragraph 2. We're going to highlight the whole paragraph. And we're going to use cut to cut it. And we're going to paste it right in front. So we're going to click the paste button. So now paragraph 2 is now paragraph 1. It says move the don't be offensive heading so that it is above paragraph 4. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're going to highlight don't be offensive, and I'm just going to move it. Move it there. Okay. And then it says, and move the be on guard heading so that it is above paragraph 5. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to move it to right there. There we go. Looks good. Tells us to save this document as, I'm going to go to my Keyboarding 8 folder, chapter 6, and I'm going to name it 52C paste 2, save. Okay, and I noticed something when I went to my folder there. Oh, I'll save it. I'll fix it down here. Let's see. Keyboard 8, I needed to move. I'm going to close out of this. I'm going to move this into my chapter 6 folder. There we go. Alright. 52D is using find and replace. So let's pull up the PowerPoint slide here for find and replace. The find and replace dialog box can be used to quickly search for a keystroke, word, or phrase in a document, and then replace that text with the desired keystroke, word, or phrase. All occurrences of the text in the document can be replaced at one time, or replacements can be made individually, selectively. You can refine this feature to use More button to display various search and find and replace options. To access find and replace dialog box, choose the replace from the editing group. Alright, so I'm going to open up activity 52D1 replace. So let's go to our keyboarding folder, data files, 52D1 replace. And it says make the following changes using the find and replace. So find and replace is over here. Okay, we're going to click on the replace button. And it says to replace dairy with grocery store. So we're going to find what? Dairy. And we're going to replace it with grocery store. Okay, so when you're typing, you want to make sure that you don't accidentally put in a space behind it, that you're spelling the words the way it's supposed to look. Otherwise, you're going to have big problems. So I'm going to click on the replace, or we'll hit find next. Okay, and it's going to highlight the word dairy. I'm going to hit replace. Okay, so that was the only instance of the word dairy. We'll click OK. So it says, instead of Tom working at the dairy, Tom now works at the local grocery store. Next, we're going to click replace all. So we're going to type in all occurrences of assessment. Okay, and you have to be careful that you spell it right, and don't forget to leave off the S at the end. Okay, so you have to be very careful. And we're going to replace it with taxes. Okay, so I'm going to click the replace all button, and it says, well, all done. We made 7 replacements. So there were 7 instances of the word assessment that now should say taxes. So we'll click OK. Next it says to replace the second and fourth occurrence of pay with earnings. Okay, so I'm going to click find next. So that's the first one. I'm going to hit find next. There's the second. And we're going to click replace. Okay, this would be the third. I'm going to hit next. And then I'm going to hit replace. Okay. So then it says replace Social Security with capital. So we forgot to type in Social Security with capital letters, so we're going to replace it here. Okay, and in this instance, I'm just going to hit replace all. I made 1 replacement. Alright, so our document should be good and fixed. Your document should look like mine right now. So it should have grocery store instead of dairy. Wherever we saw the word assessments, it should now say taxes. And there were 7 different places where we had taxes. Pay should now say earnings right here, as well as right here. It should no longer say pay, but we should still have pay here, as well as right here. All right, and then we replace Social Security right here and made the 2 words capitalized. So we're gonna go to File, Save As, Browse. I'm going to save it in my Chapter 6 folder as 52D, replace 1. Save it. Okay. And now we're going to open up for activity 2 here. 52D, replace 2. And we're going to make the following changes. So we'll use the find and replace box. Okay. We're going to change road to road. Okay. Should not have a dot at the end of it. We're going to, I'm just going to click replace all. Oh no. I'm going to get rid of the space. I had an accidental space right there. Replace all. Okay, so it made 6 replacements. I'm going to replace street. Don't put a space behind. Make sure that there's no space with the word street. No dot at the end of street. Replace all. Okay, made 2 replacements. Avenue with the word avenue. Replace all. Made 1 replacement. We'll change boulevard with boulevard. Replace all. Oh, oops, you know what? I think I had a space right there. Let's get rid of that space. Replace all, 1 replacement. Okay, lane with the word lane. Replace all. Okay, and then drive. Okay, replace all. 5 replacements. Oh, shoot. It says change drive to drive in the street address, but not the doctor that appears in the personal title. Whoops. So right here, I accidentally replaced it. I'm going to have to change this back to doctor. Okay. I guess I didn't read on. Should have read that. Okay, the next one says to change miss to miss. You do need the dot at the end of Ms. So we'll hit replace all. Made 5 replacements. And then it says to change Ms. Stacy Bethel to Mrs. Stacy Bell. So she must have got married. Let's get rid of the space at the end. Okay. And we're going to hit replace. Oh no, no replacement found. I might need to go back up to the top and click. Let's try replace again. No results found. See, did I spell her name right? Oh, that's why I have an extra space right there. Let's see, let's go through and fix that. So I accidentally had a space at the end of my, there we go, at the end of my replace with it the last time. Let's see, now we might be able to replace it. Alright, replace, okay. And then we're going to change Miss Ann Buck to Dr. Ann Buck. Let's see, replace. Replace. Okay, done. It says use in the find and replace to insert a comma after the city name. Hint, in the find box, tap the space bar once and key Texas. In the replace with box, key a comma, tap the space bar once, and then type Texas. Alright, So we're going to tap the space bar and then type capital T, capital X. And then down here, we're going to key a comma, space, and then T, X. Okay. So we're going to hit replace, 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 replace. Or you can just hit replace all. And they made 15 changes. We'll click OK. So now we have a comma after the city name, a space. Oh, those ones that we already changed though, now it added in an extra comma. So let's go back in and delete those. Alright, that looks better. There we go. Alright, so we'll close out of Find and Replace, and we're going to save this document as in our Chapter 6 folder as 52D Replace 2. Save. Alright. It says checkpoint over here on the side. Did you know, did you remove the periods after abbreviations in the street address? Did you add the period to Miss? Did you leave doctor as a personal title? And did you add the comma between the city and the state? I think we did all that, so I think we're good. All right. Next, on 52E, personal business letter, we're going to open up 52E letter. And it says that the parts are identified in red font. Arrange the letter in block format by cutting and pasting to put the letter parts in proper order. It says do not delete the text in red. Use mixed punctuation. Alright, so we have to rearrange this using cut and paste. So typically what goes on top is our return address. So, you can do it using cut and paste if you like, or you can just drag and drop. And remember that the top, the return address, always starts at about the 2-inch mark. About right there. Okay. And then we usually have the date after that. So put the date right there. Okay, followed by the letter mailing address, so we'll highlight that and drag it right there. Okay, but I noticed that we need another space in between, so it should have 2 spaces in between there, followed by the salutation. So I'm highlighting the salutation, dragging it up. Okay, and then it wants paragraph 1 at the top for first paragraph. We have paragraph 3, so I got to move paragraph 2 right there, followed by paragraph 4, so I'm going to move that one about right there. Okay, and then we want the complementary close next. Okay, I need another space in between there. Okay, and it did say that we needed to use mixed punctuation. So at the end here, I would put in a colon. Okay, at the end of the salutation. At the complementary close, I'd put in a comma. Okay, it says, use find and replace to make these changes. So we'll use find and replace. Let's see, it says to type in plane, and then airplane. Okay, so I'm going to hit replace all. I made 1 replacement. Next, I'm going to replace scattered. Oh, make sure you don't have that space there. I have a bad habit of typing that in. With soft. I hit replace. We'll hit replace all. Okay. And then it says to type positive. And we're going to replace it with meaningful. And I'm going to click replace all. Okay. It says to save the document. Once you're done, it should look like this. Okay. We're going to save this document as 52E letter. It says to print it. We're not going to print. We'll just turn it into Schoology. But you can have a classmate come over and look at it to verify that the parts are in correct order, that you use mixed punctuation, and that the format is correct, and then make any changes that are needed. We're going to go ahead and save, and we are done with lesson 52. Close out of all of this.